So let's deal with a story that the media doesn't want to talk about. So this is dealing with Carmelo Anthony. It said bystanders save child from drowning in a pool. It says, how can the near drowning of a 6-year-old boy in the swimming pool and who spent days on a ventilator in ICU wind up being a wonderful experience? Listen, and I shall tell you. Rayon Carter of Baton Rouge and her family were at a Baton Rouge motel one recent Saturday night where her 6-year-old son, Gino, vanished in a group of children in the swimming pool. Fortunately for her, some courageous bystanders came to her rescue. A teenage boy who recovered the child from the bottom of the pool, and a pair of Southwest Mississippi baseball moms who had skills in CPR. Carter was staying at the Durian Inn Suites in Baton Rouge on May 15th while her oldest son went to the prom. She and other adults were at the swimming pool where young children played and swam at around 9:30 p.m. Carter noticed the children racing in the pool. Quote, when I saw them coming, I didn't see my baby boy. I asked my daughter, where is my baby boy? She stated, Mama, he was right behind me. I jumped up and ran around the pool. The water was cloudy and the pool divided into indoor and outdoor sections. Unable to find Gino Carter, asked Carmelo Anthony, age 14 of Baton Rouge, to check in a blind spot. Quote, he came back up from out of the water with my son in his arms. As he was walking, I snatched Gino out of the pool and said, lay him flat on his back. Untrained in CPR, Carter tried chest compressions like she had seen on TV. Blood and water gushed out of her son's mouth and nose, but the boy wasn't breathing. A group of Southwest Mississippi families were staying at the motel while their son played with the ESAJs. Robert Young of Park Lane Academy in a travel ball tournament. Among them were Christy Turner of the Jays and Jamie Newman of Summit. Turner is a certified EMT, while Newman had been trained since childhood as a lifeguard under the late Macomb swimming instructor Flo Boyd of Macomb. Newman had planned to go out to Cat that night, but was tired, so she stayed at the hotel with her husband, Rick, who went for food. All of a sudden, we just heard a lady hysterically screaming and stated a locked door separated them from the pool. They had to bang on the door for someone to let them in. Everyone was panicked. Once she got in, her lifeguard training kicked in. Quote, I don't know what I did. I just ran there. I felt like it was instinct. Newman stated he wasn't breathing and he had a pulse. She performed rescue breaths while Turner monitored Gion's pulse. He immediately started to try to breathe. We turned him on his side and he started to cough. He vomited and there was blood and water. It was scary. I have never seen anything like that. We didn't know how bad his lungs were. Turner also stated that's not a good sign when there's blood. He was incoherent. They beat him on his back in order to further get the rest of the water out of his lungs. Talked to him until the ambulance arrived minutes later. Fortunately, he was breathing, so we had hoped. Gino, whose lungs had collapsed, was admitted to the intensive care unit and placed on a ventilator. By the following Wednesday, he was off the vent and started physical therapy. He recovered quickly and is now back home. Turner called Anthony the real hero for rescuing Gino and said that she was amazed at Newman's courage under fire. When the woman first heard screams, they mistakenly thought they heard the words shooting. That didn't deter Newman. Jamie is a little spitfire, Turner stated. She's not afraid of anything. She's an amazing person. Newman didn't want to take credit. It's nothing being a hero. She said it's a God thing, that he's okay. I never had to rescue someone. It's your worst fear ever. I did what anybody would do. It was instinct, and that was a child. It wouldn't matter who it was. I had to bring this up because of the fact that whenever we have instances of young black men in a situation, and either it was self-defense or what have you. Magically, the media and many others want to paint them as some type of villain. They want to try to prove that there's some type of criminality there. They want to try to state that, oh, this has something to do with race and all these other types of things. This young man literally saved the life of another child at the age of 14. He risked his own life. Again, I don't know if he was, 100% capable of swimming or what have you. But obviously, Carmelo had some eagle eye vision, and he saw where the kid was, dove directly in there, and got him directly out. If Carmelo was never there, this child would not have survived. He would not have made it. They already stated that when they were working on CPR, giving that directly to him, that he was already coughing up water and blood. That means that more than likely he was there for a little bit of time. He was there for, enough time where, hey, it's now looking at life or death. It's now looking like a situation where if he's there any longer, brain cells are going to be lost. There's going to be some deep issues there. They already stated how he had to take some type of therapy, but because he's young, he bounced right back like pretty much nothing happened. And again, shout out to Carmelo. Shout out to you. Much love, respect for what it is that you did. Because a lot of other kids would not have had the foresight or the will to just jump into a situation. He saw something and he did that. He saved another child's life. And, for me, I feel that it's needed to make this an even playing field when it deals with social media, when it deals with mainstream media, because you're not going to hear Fox News try to talk about the story. You're not going to hear MSNBC. Like I said, you're not going to hear pretty much any liberals or any Republicans talk about this, because this is now a money making situation, because they can try to pit this as, oh, this is a race thing. This is why this happened. And oh, this black kid was here and this white kid was here. And they're going to position the white kid as being, the most innocent thing closest to God, that he was up there with perfection, that he was this, that, and the third. And then they're going to try to make Anthony seem like he was the worst of the worst. They're going to try to just make it seem like he was just so criminal minded, like he was just up to no good, that he was just waiting and willing, right? Like he was just Liam Neeson and he was just waiting for any black guy to just step outside of a bar looking for trouble, right? They're trying to make it seem like he has that type of attitude when it deals with people out here, and that's just not the case. I'm pretty sure if the truth were to come out about this whole story and how it happened, people would be pretty shocked. People's words would be a little bit different. A lot of people would have to take down a lot of videos that they made, a lot of comments that they made, because they'll more than likely start to look a tad bit foolish. Because when it deals with things like this, people want to jump the gun. And this is why during the live stream, I wanted to show off and read. I'm not going to do it here, but this is why I wanted to show off and read off some of the articles that you see directly in front of you. All of these articles here, there's at least 4 of them, and they have nothing to do with race. And the interesting thing is that when you look at the articles dealing with Carmelo Anthony, you will see the vitriol, you will see the anger, you will see the rage when it deals with white folks out here. And that's because they sprinkled a little bit of thing called race in there that they can see and identify, and now they care. But these same exact people who supposedly care about the issue dealing with Carmelo Anthony and the other student, they have nothing to state when it deals with students that look like this in these images. They don't care nothing about that happening between any of these students. You'll never hear any of these people who are on YouTube or any of these other places. You'll never hear them talk about any of these other students dealing with these white kids. And why is that? But a lot of these people want to say that all lives matter, white lives matter. But where are you guys realistically at when it deals with the kids in your communities taking their own lives? Like I myself, I've covered stories within the black communities of just arguments and fights and losses of life when it deals with kids in the black community and so on and so on. So I've made sure to sit up there and cover that because that type of thing needs to get talked about, it needs to get highlighted so it can get fixed. But oddly enough, everybody else doesn't want to do that. They want to specifically stay on one thing. And I'm like, that's a little bit weird to me. That's a little bit weird, right? So let me just draw back just a little bit, right? On one end, people want to fixate on the whole thing dealing with race. If somebody black did something to somebody white, they want to say that, oh, that just proves how anti-white black people are and anti-white American, how America is towards the whites, right? And then on the other end, when they can't get that little fix dealing with race, where it's something negative about somebody black, they'll be like, oh, let's just purely focus in on the black community and all this other type of stuff and yada, yada, yada. And they make it seem as though that black people don't care about any of these things when we do. We literally have organizations. We have people that are grassroots that are working with the kids within. I'm talking about from the school systems and outside. You got black people within the black community by way of elders that also try to speak and get through to these kids. And in rare attempts, you got NBA players, NFL players, and rappers that try to also get to these students as well, in a variety of different areas. But what I don't happen to see is the exact same energy when it deals with white people and their kids. I don't see, there are people going out there to talk to them in these jails and prisons, in these juvenile detention centers. I don't see there are people trying to go out and just talk to their kids, in public, out there in the community. They just tend to let them fly as free as they want to sit up there and be and feel without any without any type of responsibility or acknowledgement of any types of wrongdoings. Oh, it's just, it's kids being kids. They do stuff all the time. Crazy kids, right? It's that type of thing. And it's magically some type of excuse because every time I go on social media and I look at these white stories dealing with these white kids and seeing how devastated the parents are. In one of these 4 stories, there was a father who stated that he forgave the killer of his child. Do you know not one white person tried to say that he was a traitor? Not one white person tried to come against that father? But because it's white on white, magically they don't got nothing to say. But when it deals with Carmello Anthony and the father of the white student stating that, I forgive Carmello Anthony for what it is that, that transpired, and I pray for him and his family. All white people in all over the United States were in shock and awe and amazement. They were mad at the fact that he wasn't angry. They were mad at the fact that he didn't try to position this as a race type of issue to further throw flames, gasoline directly on a fire that other people want to be burning. Like it's the craziest thing. And as I stated before, you're literally online right now able to see hundreds of thousands of white people going against that father and trying to condemn him, trying to say that he is not a real father because he forgave the killer. I've seen white people forgive other white people taking the lives of their families. Because you're Catholic, you're Christian. It's in the hands of God now. Whatever it is that y'all want to sit up there and speak. But magically, y'all some of the most God-fearing people directly out here, and you want to try to condemn a father because he's not as hateful as you are. He is not as emotionally rage-driven and bloodthirsty as you are. Like I said, you have a lot of people out here that really want to try to position this story and try to use this as to start some type of race type of war. And that's the thing that I'm getting from a lot of those comments. Especially when you're trying to say that father is not a father and the brother needs the brother that's still there, he needs a whole brand new family because they're not there protecting him and yada yada yada. Who are you to sit up there and say what is and what isn't from your soapbox? From your stoop, from your porch, from your basement. Like I said, it's crazy. Literally in 4K in 2025, watching live as white people cannibalize and turn on one of their own because he does not agree with their racist views. And he specifically had to come out on national TV and tell white people like, yo, don't use this story for your racist views. Don't try to say that race had anything to do with it, because it didn't. And that's what the father is saying. If the father said it, then the father said it. That's the end all to be all. But with the rest of white people, because you're not following in line, they're going to outcast you and they're going to find you to be a problem. You are now marked. That's crazy. That's 100% crazy. But like I said, this is how, white people like to move out here. If you're not one of them, then you're not one of them. But like I said, I felt as though that I needed to bring up the story in order to give a little bit more of a balance directly out here, to give Carmello a bit more of a fair shake than what a lot of other people have decided to, especially a lot of white people. I'm not even really talking about the conservative black folks out there, because that's like a non-factor, just to be real. You're just there to get money. That's that's what it really is. White people gonna sit up there and pay you because you're saying the things that they want you to sit up there and say. And as long as you stay right in line, that's it. You're gonna get whatever it is that you desire, to an extent. And up until they, need you. Because when they don't, they don't. And then you end up like Candace Owens trying to rebrand yourself. Like I said, everybody gets their time. And then everybody gets their find out. They're mess around and find out. And then people are left, in distress, and they got to figure out if they're going to sink or swim. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.